President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received on Tuesday several phone calls from world leaders discussing developments in the current military escalation in the Gaza Strip. During the calls, President el-Sisi stressed on the importance of taking into account the serious humanitarian consequences of armed confrontation on the lives of civilians, as well as the extension of security and political repercussions to the region. The story. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received on Tuesday a phone call from Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Presidential spokesperson said the call discussed the developments in the current escalations in the Gaza Strip. The two sides stressed on the importance of taking into account the serious humanitarian consequences of confrontations on the lives of civilians, as well as the extension of security and political repercussions to the entire region. President el-Sisi stressed Egypt's continued efforts to coordinate regional and international stances and to urge all parties to adopt the path of calm, as well as to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza in order to spare the Palestinian lives further human suffering. Also on Tuesday, President el-Sisi received a phone call from Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. The call tackled developments and the current situation in the Gaza Strip. The two leaders expressed deep concern about the continued escalation of violence there, accompanied with a deterioration of the security and humanitarian conditions in Gaza. President el-Sisi reiterated that the need for international community to come together to ensure the access of services and humanitarian aid provided to the Palestinian people, as well as to push forward towards dealing with the root causes of the escalation by reaching a just, comprehensive and sustainable solution to the Palestinian cause. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi also received a call from the Cyprus President Nikos Christodoulos over developments in Gaza. Both sides reportedly agreed over the danger of the situation with regards to the deteriorating humanitarian situation for civilians. President el-Sisi also received a call from Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni over regional developments and the military operations against the Gaza Strip. The two sides reportedly agreed over the need to coordinate international and regional efforts to prevent expansion of the conflict and complicating the security and humanitarian situation. During the call, the President reviewed efforts by Cairo on the regional and international arenas to urge calm and provide secure and urgent delivery for humanitarian aid to the Gaza residents. He also said Cairo is firmly against collective punishment for resettlement and sieges of the enclave, and is stressing the need to revive the Middle East peace process and give the lead to the voice of reason. Earlier on Monday, the President received a call from U.S. counterpart Joe Biden. Presidential spokesman Ahmed Fahmy said the phone call tackled the outcome of the U.S. Secretary of State's visit to Cairo and the latest regional developments and the recent escalation in Gaza. Fahmy added that President el-Sisi and U.S. President agreed on the importance to contain the current crisis in the Gaza Strip as it threatens regional stability and security. The two leaders also agreed on boosting efforts to protect civilians and deliver humanitarian aid to the Palestinian people. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received on Tuesday Secretary General of the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, Matthias Cormann. Presidential spokesman Councillor Ahmed Fahmy said that the President stressed on the importance Cairo is directing to boosting cooperation with the OECD. He said such cooperation is within the framework of sustainable development schemes with Egypt and according to the Egyptian Vision 2030. He said Egypt is keen to provide technical support to the economic reform program on all aspects. For his part, the OECD Secretary General said he valued cooperation with the Egyptian government. He said Egypt's program, signed in 2021, is the biggest of its kind in the history of the organization. The meeting discussed means of boosting ties with the organization to achieve a comprehensive and sustainable economic development in innovative fields, digital transformation, and combating corruption. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received on Tuesday AU Commission Chief Moussa Faki. Presidential spokesman Councillor Ahmed Fahmy said the meeting, which was attended by Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry, is held on the sidelines of a gathering of the Special Envoys of Africa for the support and peace security of the continent. He said President el-Sisi welcomed Faki's participation in the event and expressed a willingness to joint African action in fields relating to economic integration and regional inclusion, peace and security, institutional reform of the AU, as well as cooperation with international partners. For his part, Faqih said Egypt is a heavyweight in the African continent, adding that he values efforts by Cairo to boost development paths in African countries and contributing to preserving the political and security situation in Africa. He said Cairo has extended full objectives and logistical backing to the envoys' meeting, describing it as an important platform to exchange expertise and various experiences to contribute to settling strives and building peace. The spokesman also said the meeting discussed various issues on the regional and continental stages and developments to a number of African issues and efforts to settle them politically, especially in the Sahel and the Horn of Africa region. Developments in Sudan also topped the talks on the agenda. Egyptian aid trucks moved closer on Tuesday to the only crossing to Gaza not controlled by Israel, but with no agreement in place to deliver relief and the Palestinian side still closed due to strikes. It was unclear when they might pass through. Gaza's Interior Ministry said at least 49 people were killed in overnight Israeli bombardment in Rafah, where the crossing is located, and nearby the town of Khan Yunis. The story.
Egyptian aid trucks moved closer on Tuesday to the only crossing to Gaza not controlled by Israel, but with no agreement in place to deliver relief, and the Palestinian side still closed due to strikes. It was unclear when they might pass through. At least 49 people were killed in overnight Israeli bombardment of Rafah, where the crossing is located, and the nearby town of Khan Yunis. Gaza's Interior Ministry said that some people with dual citizenship who have gathered in recent days awaiting the opening of Rafah crossing border began approaching to the border on Tuesday, but many said they were staying away due to the airstrikes. Egypt says the Rafah crossing, a vital artery before the fighting and now a key route for desperately needed supplies into the Israeli besieged Palestinian enclave, has not been officially closed, but has become inoperable due to the Israeli airstrikes on the Gaza side. Early on Tuesday, some 160 trucks left Al Arish in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, where hundreds of tons of aid have been awaiting an arrangement on aid delivery. The trucks heading for the border contained Egyptian aid, and that the international aid remained in warehouse in the Arish. Egypt had repaired the roads within the crossing that had been damaged by Israeli airstrikes. Israel began its intense bombardment and siege of Gaza on October 7th. The territory's 2.3 million residents have been left without power, pushing health and water services to the brink of collapse, with fuel for hospital generators running low. Hundreds of thousands of people have been displaced. A UN spokesperson said on Monday that no progress had been made on Rafah opening, and that fighting on roads key to the aid delivery made it difficult to operate.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said on Tuesday he spoke to leaders in the Middle East about how to get humanitarian aid to civilians in the besieged Gaza Strip, and would raise the topic with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Israeli occupation settlers broke into Al-Aqsa Mosque on Tuesday under heavy occupation police protection. The break-in was at the South Gate, where the occupation settlers regularly conduct provocative rounds. Occupation authorities have intensified military presence and measures at the mosque gates and prevented Muslim worshippers from entering. Around 3,000 people have been confirmed killed in Israeli strikes on the Gaza Strip. The health ministry in the Palestinian territory said on Tuesday, adding that more than 12,500 others had been wounded since Israel started bombarding Gaza on October 7th. Lebanon's Hezbollah movement said Tuesday that 4 of its fighters had been killed in South Lebanon, bringing to 9 the number of the group's members killed in intensifying border strikes with Israel. In other developments, Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly called citizens to leave Lebanon immediately and added it is time for Canadian citizens to leave Lebanon while commercial flights are still available. The UN humanitarian chief said the United Nations is in deep discussions with the Israelis, Egyptians and others about getting aid through the Rafah crossing. Martin Griffiths, who is heading to Cairo on Tuesday to try to help in the negotiations, said in an interview with the UN Monday that he was hoping for some good news soon. Griffiths said the UN's overwhelming priority is to get access to Gaza, saying humanitarian rules of war are being violated. Griffiths said people cannot be asked to move out of harm's way without being assisted to do it by providing safe places and humanitarian aid. And right now, the Israelis have not made these provisions for Gazans moving from north to south. He also called for the immediate release of all hostages taken from the Israeli-occupied territories.